Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic, and this is another reaction to the Monogatari series second season. As always, you know what to do. If you want to see the reaction itself, please go down into my descriptions, you can find it there. And once you've done and watched it, you're very welcome to come back here and hear out my thoughts about this episode. So, see you soon. For those that came back, welcome back. Now, I mentioned it in the last episodes in my comments already that I was kind of lost a little bit here because I was like, yeah, it's nice and everything, but I still don't get the clue what this tiger is. Well, now we know. Envy. Interesting. So, it kind of culminated in this episode. We got a lot of information finally put together with the help of the Fire Sisters. And so it seems like the fact that Hanekawa is loving Araragi, at least her heart loves him, and the fact that she did not allow herself to realize it, at least not completely, and the fact that she's envious of what's happening. So I guess envious of Senjugahara, spurred the fire, very fittingly. In this case, it is kind of interesting that the house of Senjugahara wasn't set in flames first. I mean, normally it would be the one that has what you don't have, which you are envying most. So very nice. So the tiger is like a personification of her envy, of her suppressed love. Possibly both of it, kind of a mix-up. Clever. Very good, and thus, as she said herself, it's one of the 7 major sins. I think the major sins are, I might be wrong, but I think they are from the Bible, right? But I think they have kind of taken over as the major sins in the world because everyone can get the idea of those. Which explains why the aberration is so strong, is so big. Being a major sin and especially a very big feeling that Hanekawa has. And it explains why she can see the tiger, because it is her tiger, kind of. And it explains why Black Hanekawa cannot beat the tiger either, because you cannot beat your own feelings easily. Very, very nice. We lost like 25, 26 chapters in the beginning. So we started off with 52, I think it was. And last time we had 26. So there has happened a lot. Possibly on the Araragi plot. And we've seen in this episode that there is a lot happening because there are a lot of new people here. Which I have never met before. With kind of interesting names, partially. When episode, which is a strange name, appeared, there were multiple things. So he's a very young one. He's a half vampire. Is that something like Araragi, I guess? I'm not sure. What stands out to me is he has blonde hair. So once again, blonde hair. As far as I know, blonde hair very often stands for Caucasian. So it might be that's what they want to show. But the other person that we know with blonde hair is Oshino and is Shinobu especially. So I asked myself if he is kind of related to Shinobu, being half a vampire as well. Might be an option. He tried to kill Hanekawa in the past, so I guess that is something we will see in one of the later episodes. And he is strange and a little bit entertaining. So, always a good mix. He said that there is someone who summoned him there. And at first I thought it maybe was Araragi, there was... I remember that Shinobu and Araragi were separated from each other, were split. And thus, maybe Araragi requested his help from episode to help him find his vampire girl, Might have been an option. But then he said someone else summoned him, who is an upperclassman to Meme, to Oshino. My first thought, although she was not an upperclassman as far as I remember, was checking her name, Yozoru Kagenui, because I know her, you know? But nope, it's another girl. And then it came crashing down, quite simply. We got the information that the three of Oshino Meme, Kaiki, and Yozoru were in a club together with an upperclassman. So I guess that is her, the girl we just met, Gain Izuku, who, completely different from the other three, dresses very, I wouldn't say childish, but more like teenager, very young from the style of her clothing and what she's behaving like as well. So, interestingly younger. A bit more like Oshino, who is very openly dressed in the meaning of very, how do I say it, living? I mean, Kaiki is more like depressing, strict. And Yuzuru is as well, you know? She is not as strict dressed as Kaiki, but Oshino has this open Hawaii shirt and everything, so maybe it tells us a little bit about how they are and act. So we met Gain Izuku, who possibly is a major person for this story, I guess, at least in the background. She was an upperclassman to Oshino Meme, so I guess she's possibly very experienced. She was a member of the club, which was focusing on aberrations and supernatural stuff, so I'm not saying she's better than Oshino, but it might be, you know? And she states that she knows everything, which is a very bold statement. I mean, seriously, no. It's nearly impossible that you know. No, it's not nearly. It is impossible that you know everything. Not nearly impossible. No one knows everything. It's just not working. Not as long as you're human, because your brain would explode. But it is a it is a statement. When you do that, it's very bold. I guess she would wanted either to show that she knows more than Hanekawa, or it was pointing to the fact that Hanekawa in the past very often said, when she was told by Aragi, you know everything, or you know so much, you know, that she very often said, I do not know everything. She said it herself in the past. So maybe that's what it is about, that she wanted to point to that thing. Yeah. About her. Then there's someone we haven't met, Yotsugi? No clue. Oh no, we know Yotsugi. That's why I have a list. That was a poised look. We know Yotsugi, so she's still around. That will be entertaining. I like her. She is strange and funny. Okay, but if she's around, wouldn't that mean that Yozoru is around as well? Because it is her familiar, you know? Kind of her direct workforce. So some things going on, and we have a lot of people involved already. That's cool. I'm really look forward to this storyline around Araragi and what the hell is going on there. And there was another thing that I wrote down. So it was mentioned that by Episode, when he talked to Hanekawa, that she does not look the same way she did in the past. So he can kind of realize stuff about people. And she does not look as conflicted as she did in the past, more like she is cut off from her problems. I mean, I don't know what was then in the past. I guess that's something we will see later. We know that some of her problems might have been solved. Maybe the fact that, well, what I ask myself here is, if she's cut off from her problems. We have two aberrations by now who are kind of her problems. So kind of that she took her problems and put them into an aberration. Without doing it actively, just as it works. So one of them is Black Hanekava, who, as she says herself, is having all of her burdens on her back instead of Hanekava herself. And the other one is the tiger, which is, as I guess, mainly about the unfulfilled love with Araragi and the fact that Araragi took someone else now. So question is, thus the tiger's roaming around by himself, and by the thing cut off, I kind of fear that, like, what if Black Hanekava herself, the metal cat, is somehow able to completely disconnect herself from Hanekava? That would be an option. That would be dangerous, on the other hand. I don't think that Black Hanekava can completely cut loose from her because she needs her body. But she is kind of cut loose because she is in complete control in the night. So maybe that's what he is referring to. However, the tiger's running around by himself, it seems. And that is a problem. Because if you have deep regrets, emotions, stuff like that, that manifests in aberrations, or lures in specific aberrations, and you cannot control them, then, well, we are in a world of trouble. So I can only guess that he refers to the tiger being cut off from her. Which, funnily enough, is something that is happening for Araragi at the time now, as far as we know, because his vampire girl and he himself are cut off from each other as well, which wasn't before. So the question is there a reason why this is happening? Has someone kind of triggered it? Has something happened in the past, before episode 1 or more neither around episode 1, which cut off those bonds for both of them, for Hanekava and for Araragi? Just guessing. I guess not, but it would be interesting if so. And seeing that it is mentioned that Yotsugi is in the city, but it isn't mentioned that Yozoru is in the city, Kagenui, there could be two separate persons as well. So, why? What is going on? Okay, enough of me mumbling, sorry. Yeah, then we got the informations about the history tiger, and I realized that when it was mentioned, there was this short blend in, where they explain some stuff which I never am able to read. But there it read Hysteria Tiger. And I was like, Hysteria is not the same. And I was like, okay, I will check that later. Thus I wrote it down. But they explained it already in the episode, so I don't have to. So there is this connection, Hysteria, where Hanekava went through the thinking herself. The history, her history, the hysteria, emotions, envy. Here we go. Fire. What does fire mean to you? By the way, a great scene for the Araragis. Which brings me to the Araragis. We have seen the mom, and she's awesome. I really like her. So she is a very well put woman. She looks good. She looks healthy, I mean, there are many ways of portraying parents. She could have been anything, but she seems to be very well aware of herself, very self-confident. I mean, she's someone who works for the police, so I can see that. I found it kind of harsh, but I understand it, that she directly confronted Hanekava about the fact that she is a guest to the family, but will never be a member of the family. I think she knows a lot about people. I mean, I don't know what her position directly is in the police. She could be anything. She could be a cop on the street, or she could be someone higher level, detective, or just an intern. Someone just working in her office or for finance. We don't know. But she seems to have kind of knowledge of people. And I guess she needs with kids like that. So she very politely but strictly stated, you should care about your family. I mean, that's it in the end what she kind of said. You cannot be part of this family. We are not your rescue anchor to run to and have a new family and just forget about the old one. And by the way, looking away is not running away. That's interesting. So she kind of pushed her to think about her problems, to solve her problems with her family, which she hasn't done yet. But I think it spurred on a little bit of thinking about what's going on. And seeing that Hanekawa is one of the most clever persons we know here, if she puts her mind on the problem, I think she, well, I don't know if she can solve it, but she at least can make some steps forward to a decision. Because right now, yes, it's true, she just looks away to ignore the pain and ignore the problems, I guess. So, very great, very, very good scene. And as Aragi's sisters later on put the fact when it came to their friends, their boyfriends, Araragi Koyomi, the brother, simply does not look at their friends. So he does not perceive their friends. He doesn't want to care about it and handle it. Which is funny for me because we had the first episodes, the first season, all from the viewpoint of him. Thus, we did never see those friends. Thus, we didn't see the mother either, because it was not important to him in this moment. And now that we are having it from the outside view, from someone else, from Hanekawa, we do see the parents, at least one of them now. We see other things we haven't seen before. I like that. It's a really nice concept. So this is the concept of the story, the concept of the series, how they created. This idea is great because it gives us the option, just thinking that they would stick to ideas like that, to jump, as example, they did it the other way around now, but have an Araragi viewpoint first, where stuff is happening, you know? And as so often I'm like, I don't get it. And then we change perspective and we see at least parts of the storyline again from Hanekawa's view, from Senjugahara's view, whatever. And we realize there are other people there, or there's stuff happening there that Araragi either didn't realize or did not think to be important. And this can be an interesting way of telling a story. You know, like, just as an example, there he's having a fight with someone, and then in the end, this other person has to leave because it is crushed by a rock that fell from somewhere up. So, and he's like, yeah, well, that was lucky. That's it, and leaves. And for us, it's okay. And then we have a viewpoint of, let's say, Senjugahara or anyone else who realizes, no, this rock did not fall by accident. Someone else did it, you know? Who he's not aware of, who later comes into the story. So we learn that this other person was already there in the past. Just Mind Palace. So, as I say, I like the concept. Different views give us other informations. And I like the fact that right now Hanekawa finally is aware of the fact that she's envious. Which means, even if you don't want to acknowledge it, that you have feelings. You are not envy if you do not have at least some feelings there. So she deals very mature with it. I mean, she's possibly one of the most mature. Oh well, I just wanted to say she's one of the most mature persons. On the other hand, suppressing your own feelings is not very mature either. I don't know. However, in the end, she changed her dress, which I think we have never seen. Kind of like becoming a new person. And she writes a letter to Black Hanekawa, which will be interesting. I I don't know if we will see in the next episode Black Kanekawa reading it, or if that will be maybe a part of the other storyline. But at least she tries to influence Black Kanekawa. She tries to solve her own problems by herself. So I would say she's on a good way there. I don't know about the picture, what it was for. Okay. But it's typical. Delete, no. Next one, delete, no. This one looks good. So next episode. A Heart in Love. Well, seeing it is the last episode of this storyline, I hope there will be a solving about the tiger problematic. Thus, she is aware of her envy now. Shouldn't that already influence the tiger? I guess so, you know? So she can work on her envy, whatever will help there. But I don't know completely how she can solve it. Maybe she will have a talk with Senjugahara. That would be fitting. Because they had some interaction already, and she is very often phoning with her, having a call to her. So maybe there will be another scene with the two of the girls, who are very honest to each other. So I like this fact that they have a friendship relationship with each other while they both love the same man, which is complicated as hell. Yeah, I guess that's where we're heading for. And then I wait for the next storyline. I like it, as always. So that was a really good one. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. I will see you the next time. Until then, please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. My name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.